Want free money? Of course you do. Want to save some money? You know you need to. Hey friend, I can help you do both. And if you're really ambitious, I can help you thrice. It's 2020 and it's time to get financially fit. Save and invest, and I've been on a few apps watching my money grow and work for me, and I want that for you too. So if you sign up for Acorns, Stash, or Digit with my links, you'll get $5 in your account to start. That's $5 for Acorns, $5 for Stash, and $5 for Digit. After linking your bank account, these accounts will take a few dollars after every transaction or on a set schedule to save or put into a stock portfolio. I know nothing about stocks, and you don't need to either. But hey, I'm learning. That's Digit at j.mp/digitandoob, or to get Stash, j.mp/stashandoob, or Acorns at j.mp/acornsandoob. So check out any of my links and let's get our lives together.
3S FX presents the Indu Podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Good morning, Indubians. I'm T. Sterling Watson.
And I'm Kortney.
This is the Indu Podcast, where morning drive time meets late night talk show as we aim to entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Thank you for stopping by and pressing play. This is episode 119. We are in the throes of Black History Month.
We are.
Did I use throws correctly? I feel like I did.
Yes.
Okay.
You did. You used throws as in THROES rather than throws as in she throws him in the pool. I don't know.
Well, great, because I didn't even know how to spell it. I would have probably put in the throws as if you're throwing, objects like you just said, the example you gave.
Yes.
So, right.
Yes. You used it correctly.
Good job. Virtual high five to you. And I don't want to actually high five. I don't want to distract you too much because you are driving. And I mean, it's not the first. You are driving. It's not the first time we've done this, I don't think. And in fact, I was telling someone else, we also occasionally have guests that are driving because Parisa one time was driving as she was giving us secrets of like things she was doing and acting and working on. And you know what? I'm going to applaud for you, but kudos to her because she is busy. She is a busy woman.
She's booked and busy.
Yes, she is. We are so proud of her here at the Indu Podcast. She is on I want to say it's a hit TV show. I don't know. I really haven't been looking at any ratings, and I apologize from the basements of my heart. I have not been watching it yet, but she's on The Sinner, this new season, which I will be checking out. So I will be watching it. She's on that. She is on the new movie that just came out, Fantasy Island, which I admittedly a little too terrified to watch on my own. So we'll see.
Yeah, I can't watch it. I already know this about myself. Everybody knows this about myself.
This is true. I mean, there are still some movies we still haven't yet to have you watch.
Eventually it'll happen.
Yeah, eventually, sooner than later. But and soon, I hope, My Spy, I think it should be coming out. I forgot when the new date is set, but I don't know, could be in a month from now. I'm not sure. I really don't remember. But I thought there was something else that she was doing.
What's it called? What's this movie called?
My Spy.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's with Dave Bautista, or Drax, as we like to know him as.
Yeah. In his human form.
Yes, his human form. I really thought there was one other thing. I'm pretty sure there's a dozen other things she's working on because, like you said, she's booked and busy, and it's awesome. So great to see people we love doing, great things and being bigger and a whole bunch, and all of the things. So kudos to her. That was not on my list of stuff to talk about. She just happened to pop in my head, and just wanted to show her some love. So, yeah. How are you?
I am good. I am coming off of a 3-day weekend, which always makes me happy. And yeah, so that's it. I'm getting ready to finish. I'm not getting ready to finish draft 3, but I'm getting ready to finish part 1 of the revision process of draft 3. So I'm making progress. I'm not quite done enough to say that I now have a draft 3, but I basically, this process has been broken down into, in general, 2 parts. And so I'm just about to finish the first part, and then I'll be able to get started on the second part, and then I'll have a draft 3, and then I can move on to the next draft.
Nice.
So it's nice to finally have some progress, or feel like I'm making progress with this ginormous
drafting
project of mine. Yes.
Right. Wow. Would you say the going through the editing that you're doing now is how does that compare to actually the initial writing of it all?
Well, it's new because this is my first time ever having multiple drafts of a project. I am good at writing the novel, but I'm not so good at actually keeping with it and going back to it and editing and revising and making it better. Because I've always just been super scared of the process and not sure of the process and not interested in the process. But this year I've just decided to commit, and I've decided to really take my author career to the next level. And so in order for me to do that, I have to finish my book. Right. So it's new and it's challenging. There's a huge learning curve, but I have some help, and I have the internet, so that's a great resource. And funny enough, I'm getting a lot of really good confirmation, even just lately, that yes, I'm on the right track. Yes, I'm doing this correctly. Yes, it's hard, but yes, it's worth it. So
that's great.
It's different because writing and just drafting something is super, well, to me it's easy because I've done it and I feel comfortable with it. But it's the revision process that I'm having to just learn and be patient with. But it's going, and I'm happy that it's going.
That's great. And I'm glad to hear it. And we've kept tabs, but I think this is the first time we've kind of talked more about it on the podcast. So it's great to hear the progression that's happening.
Yeah, definitely.
That's good. I have not had a 3-day weekend. So it's actually all day today. I kept thinking it was Wednesday. And
Ooh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, even as I said out loud, I'm like, wait, is it Wednesday? But so yeah,
it's still not Wednesday.
It is not Wednesday.
At the time of this recording.
At the time of this recording, correct. And I feel like there's a website out there, but no, I'm thinking of there's a website that lets you know if it's lunchtime, and like you just go to this website and lets you know it is not lunchtime. Or it'll say like it's almost lunchtime, and I think it's between like maybe 11:30 and maybe 1 o'clock where it'll say it's lunchtime. So it's
gotcha.
Great. It might actually be called islunchtime.com. Don't quote me on that. I don't feel like looking it up, but it's
there really is a website for everything, isn't there?
There is, and I used to check it just for fun and just refer to people to it. It exists out there, and that is all the website does. There is no contact information. There is no web counter. Nothing like that.
There.
It just
for
has
your
just
entertainment.
Big bold, like I think Times New Roman print of what. Like not what time it is, but like rather if it's lunchtime or not, and it is hilarious. So, yeah.
That's
but
funny.
yeah, I'm good. It's been a busy weekend. It's been President's Day. It's been Valentine's Day. It's been Galentine's Day. What else has there been?
Yes.
I was going to say
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King.
That was a little while ago.
Yeah, that was
not the weekend.
Right. That was last month, right?
Yes. What a long month this week has been already.
It has, and I have yet to put up my favorite meme, which is from 30 Rock, and I actually need to look up that reference if it actually is, because it's Tina Fey or Liz Lemon saying like it's been a long, long month or long year or a crazy year or something, and then Jack Donaghy, as played by Alec Baldwin, says, "Liz, it's only February." So something to that effect. True. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know if that's like if they just changed it to, because how memes are, they'll just change it to fit the whatever it is. So I don't know if that's an actual quote from the show. I don't know, but it's still funny, and I need to post it because I have not posted it this year. So it's been a long year so far. Something to that effect. But it is true. And I even thought about that as I was writing up the notes for this episode. I'm like, wait, did we talk about the Grammys or did we talk about Super Bowl? I'm like, wait, yeah, we did, because we had this whole conversation about Super Bowl teams, and you're upset about Chief wearing Cowboys jerseys. Yeah. So and
how disappointed I was.
Correct. But we have not talked about the Oscars, nor have we talked about there being an Oscar-themed episode like we tend to do every year. And I kind of did that on purpose because of like my disinterest in the Oscars this year. But I still watched them. Did you watch them?
Of course not.
Okay, yeah, just checking, because sometimes you surprise me. Like I checked that out. I'm like, oh, you did, all right. And my voice was higher, but you didn't.
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't. No surprises here.
Right. And I would say there wasn't really too many surprises either on the actual ceremony or telecast, rather. And other than the fact that Eminem performed, which confused a lot of people. So.
Well, I did hear about that, and I'm still confused. So.
What happened?
Why?
Okay, I've got answers. Okay.
All right.
Eminem won, and by the way, he is an Academy Award winning rapper, by the way, just like 3 6 Mafia, which I love reminding people. Like, yeah, they have Oscars.
That's pretty amazing, actually.
It is, because it's hard out here for a pimp. So it's
hard out here for a pimp.
It truly is. Maine, I have to throw that Maine in there because of its Terrence
because
Howard.
Why not?
Because
right.
Yeah. And do you want to build a snowman? Yes. Where was I going? Oh, why was Eminem performing? He won his Oscar back in 2002. He did not want to.
For 8 Mile, right?
What?
Was it for 8 Mile?
Yes, it was. It was for 8 Mile back in 2002. He refused to perform because he would have been censored, and he didn't want to, or he would have to censor himself, and he didn't want to do that.
Right.
So,
right. Sure.
So as far as I know, he didn't even show up. So when it came time to, I guess what happens is every few years they have new producers, and I don't know why they were thinking hey, let's bring him out. Let's, do it. But I also heard that it was to also expect him not to show up as well. Like if they invited him and if he still didn't show up, then they just wouldn't do it. But they had secret rehearsals and everything. But
wow.
I heard someone else say it would have helped a great deal if they explained within the show why it was he was performing now, 17 years later. But they didn't do that, and it was just a huge surprise and a whole bunch of perplexed people. Why are you performing this song now? What does this have to do with anything? But
so I'm curious though as to, yeah, I'm with you. Why did now they decide to invite him? Also, my planner brain is kind of losing it because it's okay, clearly the Oscars have a set time frame, and I'm sorry if you can hear the pitter patter. It is raining now, raining harder than it was.
I'm not sure if we lost you a little bit. Okay, there you are.
Oh, can you hear me? Oh,
yeah, I can hear you. Yep, you're good. You're back. You're back. You're good.
Okay, so I'm wondering why in the world the planners, the planner in me is flipping out because how do they fit in their time budget that he may or may not come? So he did come. That means was the slot already filled just with a placeholder just in case he didn't come? Or since he did come, did they have to extend it by 3 minutes or however long the performance was? I don't I need those answers. That's the real question.
Right.
Is how did they plan for this?
I don't have those answers, but I have guesses. They could probably fill in using like commercial time, or maybe they just have a plan B already set up where they already had their montage made up of like great musical things, but it leads into like they had a huge musical montage, and Lin-Manuel Miranda is the one who introduced the segment that started the montage that ended with 8 Mile being played, or not 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Sorry. What is the name of that song now? Whatever the name of the song is, which is just suddenly escaped my mind. Because I was confused.
Oh, Lose Yourself?
Yes, Lose Yourself, because it started with a whole instrumental, like orchestral thing that happened as they were showing scenes from the movie. I'm like, okay, this is a very famous song, but like they're showing clips from the movie. I'm like, I don't remember this. What's happening? Why are they playing this? Until all of a sudden Eminem comes out on stage.
Right.
The song, I'm like, oh, okay. Why?
And it's like, but why?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And there's one of the memes that's going around now is basically showing Billie Eilish just looking confused and perplexed. I saved this picture because I use it sometimes too. Like, okay, he's here, but what's going on? Why? What's happening? What's happening here?
I think of the guy who's like his head is cocked and then there's question marks all in the air around him. That's what I think of. The other
meme that has sparked from this is is Martin Scorsese just looking nonplussed.
Yeah.
Like I'm not with it.
I don't understand. I don't get it.
It's not cinema. It's not cinema. I don't care. Why is this here? So yeah.
Right.
But that's what happened. That's the reason why it happened, because they're able to do a time delay or a now to censor it. So that way he could just perform without having to worry. And I think, was it this? I'm trying to think if there's something else that happened in this telecast, or if I'm thinking of the Grammys, but I think it might have been the Grammys where it was either this or the Grammys where they did censor a couple times, but like the gaps in between the censoring was like way longer than necessary. It looks like 5 or 6 seconds, but it felt like 30 seconds. Like, wow, okay, that was a great gap in there. But yeah, that's live TV. So
another thing I've always wondered, and this is probably going to take us way off topic, but are they censored by a robot, or is it an actual person censoring the people?
It's an actual person. As far as I know, I'm sure AI and the robots in the future will be able to identify, like, okay, we know where this is coming. So there's someone that's like, I'm pretty sure there's a button that they're just waiting and ready, and like, okay, he said it there, and then that's where the time delay is. So where it happens, we're seeing it like 10 seconds later, or maybe 30 seconds later than what's actually live. So I guess I just, like you say, 5 or 6 seconds or even 10 seconds of a delay, and I'm like, I don't process things that quickly, do I? Like, if I was hired for this job, would they fire me because I would let so many F-bombs drop on live television for a TV program? Because I think I would get fired. I think I wouldn't catch it quick enough without any help from the AI overlord. And you wouldn't be wrong, because it does happen. Like it happened with I want to say it happened with the Super Bowl, but I don't think it was that. I know recently it happened at a hockey game because they invited Green Day to perform, and there were set times where they knew that Billy Joe was going to drop some F-bombs, but he included some extra ones that they weren't prepared for, and it got through. So there you have it. Yeah.
Well, I think about that one fateful Super Bowl where Janet got blamed for Justin's mishap.
Right.
And I think that was during the time of the censor button, right? Like that was during our lifetime.
It was definitely during our lifetime. And the funny thing about, like, it feels like it's one of those things like, do you know where you were when this happened? Or were you there? Were you present? And the funny thing with that particular performance, I was alone in the room. Like everybody had left. They all went to go do something else. Like we had a party at our house, or it was just a family, and they had all gone their separate ways during that show. And I'm just sitting there watching, and I'm like, wait, what just happened? And no one else in the room, and no one else in the room was there to confirm with me. And this was before like Twitter, I believe, and or at least I wasn't on it. And it wasn't until the next day that everything like, oh, so what I just saw actually, okay, that was a nipple. Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I remember that too. I don't remember where I was exactly, but I think I have an idea of where I might have been, and I could be like generating memories because that happens. But
it does,
I think I was at my one of my old houses, and because I've lived in 4 now, but at one of my old houses, and pretty sure it was a Super Bowl gathering as well. And I remember looking like, wait, is that? Or it didn't hit me until like they cut away, and then you saw Janet's face, and then they like turned the lights out.
Right.
But then I was like, wait a second, what? But again, I was like super delayed. I would have also let it slide through because I didn't catch it till minutes later. Because
also the way that they played it seemed like that was supposed to happen. Like they just looked startled, and then it just moved on. I'm like, oh, okay. That looked like a nipple. Okay, that was
the
weird.
Song. I remember the song, and now every time I hear it, I'm just like, oh, that's Justin. But like I remember the song that was playing, and I just thought it was part of the song. And then I'm like, wait a second, I don't think they meant to. It's kind of like that.
Right. And in regards to that kind of like censoring delay thing, I don't know. I know it probably works a little different for visual stuff. So I don't know exactly.
Probably.
Other than maybe blackout or try to find another camera to cut to, which would be difficult because it's the Super Bowl. It's the halftime show. You're pretty much focused on the performers that are there.
Exactly.
Yeah, unless there's a camera looking at the audience or the crowd or something.
Panning the audience, yeah.
Right. Yep. So, and now we can kind of segue back to 2020 because there's been a lot of I will say backlash.
A lot of backlash.
Against this most recent halftime show. And
I know.
I'm not for it because I thought it was it was definitely very sexy because you got these 2 beautiful Latino women just, bringing it and booty shaking all over the place. Maybe that's what they didn't like about it. But I mean,
yes.
What do you expect? You got this hot Latin music going on.
My thing is when you hired J-Lo and Shakira especially, what did you expect? Also, like they tell immigrants all the time, if you don't like it, turn the channel.
Right.
Like, you knew that Shakira was performing. Even if you live under a rock, you know what Shakira is like. You know her taste and her style, and it is very sexual. I don't think it's always, sometimes it can be inappropriate, but I don't think what she did was inappropriate.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, folks.
Like you should have known what you were going to get. So
you should have known what you were getting into. What's happening? Like,
and I think some people were upset that they sung in Spanish. And I'm like, they are Spanish speakers.
Also, they're in Miami, so
exactly.
Which I've heard is why. Because I was kind of like, why J-Lo and why Shakira? Because I don't follow their careers. I mean, I like their music mostly, but it's just a weird choice. So
I
was
felt
like,
the
well,
same
why
way.
them? And then somebody pointed, and then them together. But then somebody pointed out to me that the Super Bowl was in Miami, and I said, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. It's a huge, Hispanic population and community, and I don't know if they're from there, or live there, but who cares? It's the culture, and that makes sense.
Right. And I was going to be really snarky about it, but then as the show went on, I'm like, I'm really enjoying this, and partly because I liked it. I did too. And I mean, I really didn't know many of their songs, but it almost didn't matter because I was enjoying the show. And it was like, this is great. Plus, J-Lo got to use her pole dancing skills yet again, because I'm pretty sure
Right.
she learned all that for Hustlers, which she was snubbed by
Right.
Hustlers, which we'll get back to. But like, she got to work on more of that. Like, I'm making sure that these lessons go to good use. So
they say, yeah.
Don't be surprised if it shows up like in her next music video or the one after that, because like she is.
I mean, why not?
Right. So other than that, like I actually did enjoy it. I just heard people talking like in person talking about how much they disliked it and like, what's the deal? Why are they singing in Spanish and just made no sense. And then I think it was Daytona 500. I didn't watch it. It was on Twitter. Someone mentioned that Darius Rucker, who is Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish. I don't care what you say, Hootie. That's what your name is.
That's his name.
He was performing.
Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish.
Exactly. He was performing, and someone said that was better than the halftime show. I'm like, are you kidding? I mean, I didn't have to watch it, and I knew that was a lie.
That's a lie, yeah.
Yeah. No offense to you.
Yeah,
I'm sure you did great. But
no, Hootie's great. I actually really like him. But it's not halftime performance. They turn it up and do a bunch of crazy stuff for halftime because it's Super Bowl.
Right.
But I really enjoyed their performance, and it was neat to see J-Lo's daughter singing with her.
Right.
Seeing the tributes or the political statements was really neat to me.
Right, which I missed. It wasn't until the article that came out.
I missed the whole Kids in the Cages thing, and I was like, okay, that's perfect. I'm so sad I missed it. Like, I saw it, but I didn't catch
exactly. Like,
then they sang Born in the USA with the Puerto Rican flag. That was perfect. Oh, brilliant. Chef kiss. Mwah. But other than that, I mean, I really did enjoy the songs, the performances. I love seeing so many women of color on the stage.
Yes.
Like women of color presenting, I should say, because many Latinas don't necessarily look Latina, but
this is true.
I'm seeing lots of dark-skinned women up there, and that was,
right.
You don't see that, so it was really great to see.
They come
Love hearing some of my favorite hits from growing up. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, just as long as like Shakira did, what is it? Whenever, wherever, whatever. That basically the song that she came out with, at least for me, that's my first introduction of her and all the animals that were running around her.
Yes.
I don't know what they were, but I was more interested in just her dancing at the time. So I'm like, and that's a song I like the video more than I like the song, and that's mostly because of her dancing. So yes, I have no shame in that. I
get it.
Sometimes, like
part of her appeal.
Yeah, I mean, and they haven't looked like they aged that much, so they age gracefully.
No, oh my gosh! And I heard that the Super Bowl, like that day, was her birthday, and she was like, I don't know, 40 something, maybe late 30s.
Wow.
Late or mid 40s or early 40s sounds about right. But J-Lo's 50, and Shakira's, I mean, they just look so good, and they don't look like they've aged at all.
Not at all.
Aged for the better.
Although I think my sister was saying that she wasn't dancing too much. Instead, she had like men lifting her up, and they were doing all the dancing. So, but I'm like, whatever.
Oh, J-Lo?
Yeah. Except for the pole dancing part, because she did that.
She did that by herself.
She did. And I mean, I'm not mad at her either. She's doing what she does, and like, go ahead and let the men lift you up and do all the whatever. I don't know. I don't.
Well, but it's hard to, from what I've heard from performers, because a performer I am not. I've heard that singing and dancing, even for like a Super Bowl set, like that's a lot, and it's high energy, and it takes a lot out of you. So
it does. If
you can find rest breaks while still performing, it makes sense to take them.
Right. And a quick aside, I remember, I think I watched some documentary regarding Outkast and how early on in their career, before they even like got big, like they were trained to like rap their lyrics while running like around the block, so that way they could learn to breathe and like perform at the same time. And
that's smart.
Yeah, I think of that kind of training. So I'm like, if I should ever try to get into that kind of entertainment where I'm going to dance and like sing, then that's something I guess I would have to do, is like run, but also.
Well, that makes sense.
Right. So you can learn to breathe, but also move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's a workout.
Well, I believe that it's something that can be learned. So it's obviously you probably just don't have it already, but it's definitely something that can be learned and perfected as you practice it, just like anything else. So
exactly.
makes sense.
Exactly. And you just keep getting better at your craft, and before you know it, you're winning Oscars. And that is
exactly
what we will be discussing now after, because Oscars. Big shout out to Matthew A. Cherry for winning for Hair Love, which I want to say can be found almost everywhere. I know.
Yeah, I saw it on YouTube today. Again,
I just was like, wait, is this your first time watching it?
No.
Yeah.
I just keep seeing it pop up places every now and again.
I am proud to say that I am one of the Kickstarters to get this thing rolling and going. So I actually do have a link to it. Like I can, not that I'm going to be, giving it out or screening it or anything anytime soon, but like, it's like, I have it for my own personal digital collection. So that's awesome.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
I don't know if I signed on a tier where I'm actually going to get some kind of something. I will let you know if that happens, but I don't know. But yeah, super proud for him and his win, and all the people that were involved with him. I don't have all of their names. I just know that it was a huge win for us and for Black Twitter.
Yeah.
It was great because it deserves. And I've only seen one of the other nominees, and that was Kit Bull, I believe it was called, and that's on Disney Plus.
Kit Bull.
Kit Bull, I believe that's what it's called.
Okay.
It's because they have a whole bunch of Disney Pixar shorts, which are pretty cool. I haven't checked them out recently because I know they keep adding more or new ones, and I'll need to go back and follow up on that. But one of them was a Oscar nominee, so good job for being nominated. The other big win was Parasite and director Bong Joon-ho. So good, kudos to him and
that was so exciting.
Yes, I was so happy. So very happy.
Yes.
I also highly recommend watching the film if you have not yet. And I'm going to be one of those people that also agree that the less you know about the movie, the better. And I even felt a little upset because some of the clips that they showed during the Oscars, it took place in the second or the third act. And
oh, wow.
They were really adamant about in any trailers or previews to not show any footage from the back half of the movie.
Right.
Even though out of context, out of context, it makes no sense what's happening. Even the clips that they shown, but even then, I'm like, hey, that's from later in the movie. But still, it really made no difference because you don't really know what it's talking about. So,
confession. So I actually did read, I think I may have told you this off air once before, but I actually did read the synopsis of the movie on Wikipedia, and it still makes no sense to me.
Oh, okay.
I read it and I'm just like, I don't get it. I get it, but it makes no sense to me. Trying to picture it happening and trying to see how this would be a good movie, it makes zero sense to me.
Well,
so now that doesn't discourage me. I just think that's me not getting it. Or maybe the review or the synopsis is just terrible, but it really just makes no sense.
And that probably, I feel like it makes sense because on paper, if you were to read it without actually watching it, it may not make sense. But if you watch it and then you go back and read it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what. Not even a realization you would kind of see, because I couldn't even explain to you what happened or what and you almost don't want to either, because you just have to watch it kind of thing.
Right.
Because even watching it, and I went in again not knowing much about it, but you truly don't know what's going to happen. Whereas some movies, it's predictable, but this one not so much, because I'm like, okay, anything could happen, and the stakes are pretty high, and they are high. So
I see.
I think the thing that was bothersome to me was when it first came out, I think people were saying that it was a horror movie, and that was turning me off. Like I didn't want to go see it. Like, I don't want to go see another scary movie. But it's not a horror movie. They do call it a kind of a black comedy, which
okay. Is it a black comedy?
It's got some comedic moments to it for sure. Like it is a little dark. And it definitely kind of lies more towards thriller because like things get pretty intense.
Sure.
But it's not scary. It's not funny. It's more like, oh my God, what's gonna happen next? Oh no, no. So yeah, it's a weird movie to put in a genre, and I do appreciate movies that do that, where they're kind of genre bending, where like you can't really put this in a category. It's just good. It's just a really good movie. Or well good. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understood. They understood.
Yeah. So
well, one day I'll go see it. There's so many movies that are on my backlog. Like we mentioned Hustlers earlier. I still want to see that.
Mm-hmm. Also
there's
good.
a movie out right now that I really want to see that I can't even think of like what it's about. But I just like I think Birds of Prey. That's the one. I want to see Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put that on my list, but we can talk briefly about that. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Like I would go back and watch it again.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
It is. It now, really is
people
good.
Who are just like nerds, women, but who cares? Like they suck. But like I really want to see that movie. It looks so good to me.
I mean, one of my what do you call them? I guess movie bays, I suppose, because she was a TV crush, but now she's also a movie crush. But she's been in movies. Yes, Journey Smollett. Yeah. So she's in it and kicking all the booty. I mean, literally.
I've never seen her in an action film, so I'm really excited about that.
She sells it. In fact, they all do. Another movie crush is Elizabeth Winstead. She's a 3-name actress, and I'm forgetting one of the names. But she plays Huntress. She also does some booty kicking as well as Margot Robbie. And the way that they shoot the fight scenes, Rosie Perez, got to give her a shout out as well, because if I don't, why didn't you say anything? But all of them fight, and they fight well. And the way that it's shot, not corny, because I always think about when Stephanie Williams and I talked about Iron Fist and how terrible the fight scenes were in that TV show, because they would do all these cuts. They would do like, you can tell maybe people were swapped out or the hits weren't.
Oh, wow.
It was terrible.
Was it really that bad?
It was. I mean, at least the first season. The second season was a little better, but like, whatever. But there's certain ways to shoot fight scenes, and the way that these fight scenes were shot, it was great because you actually got to see the actual actress, like, taking swings or throwing punches or throwing kicks or throwing objects. And it was more of a wide shot rather than these close shots and all these cuts. Like it actually played through and you got to see them fight, and it was much more exciting that way. It was great. Like I enjoyed learning about these characters, and and as someone else had said, it's not a sequel to Suicide Squad. You don't need to see that movie to see this one. And again, my review of Suicide Squad is, hey, it gave us the song Heathens and one of my favorite credit sequences. So there you go. I mean, there's other things about Suicide Squad that I like, but like overall, meh. Yeah. But this Birds of Prey, I really did enjoy. Yes, I did kind of doze off, and it wasn't because of the movie. It's because I cannot watch movies apparently anymore after work, like directly after work. I will be sleepy unless I have a good strong dose of caffeine to help me get through, because work takes a lot out of me. So and I'm not a young buck anymore, I guess. So but yeah, that's
those little things that take us down.
It does. Real quick with the Oscars, I usually kind of put out a whole prediction thing and kind of tell you what my predictions are, but I did not do that this year. In fact, I predicted like the night before, and I got 15 out of 24 correct, which is not great.
Hey, that's not too bad. I would have got probably 0. Well, 1.
Well, you did pretty good, I think, the year before, and you knew nothing about anything and just kind of guessed.
It was a fluke.
Yeah. But we did a whole thing.
Fluke.
A bunch of us, we all did predictions. And
yes.
next year, hopefully, there'll be some better not better categories, but better entries, and we'll see how I do next year.
Yeah.
And as for like a movie themed episode, I'm hoping to do one later this year anyway, where we'll kind of look back at movies that came out in 2020 that we liked, and then looking at movies coming in 2020 that we maybe are anticipating. So we'll let you know and keep tabs on that special episode. But speaking of movies continuing, I also saw the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which came out.
Okay, good. How was that?
I loved it. Like,
really?
The child in me that grew up playing Sonic the Hedgehog and watching the animated TV show. I know they have a few of them now, but that was what I wanted as a kid, and I'm glad we got it. I mean, even as an adult, I think I appreciated it more as an adult than as a kid. But yes, it was great. You'll also hear people comparing it to Detective Pikachu, which is also another video game based movie that did very well, and it was actually very good. I too agree, and I don't know. I can't say that it was better, but and I can see why they would compare the two, but they both are really well done. And again, another childhood video game for me that I was like,
come to life.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is what I wanted. Like, my childhood is now like, it's satisfied. Like, yes, this is what I was looking for. And I think these movies wouldn't have been possible, or maybe they would have been possible, but they wouldn't have been as good then than they are now. Because I think we have like really good people, the tech to do it, and also people that understand the characters or even the story to make it good. Because with that said, I think maybe we're ready for a remake or someone to come around and do Super Mario Brothers like better.
I was like, wait, we did that already.
We did. And I'm thinking there are people that maybe they don't hate it, but maybe this can go in the pantheon of movies that are so bad that they're good, which is something, again, we'll talk about on this podcast in a future episode. Because I have yet to revisit the movie itself, but I know, like, okay, this is weird. And even as a kid, when I saw it, I'm like, oh, this doesn't really make sense. Like, where's Yoshi, and why is that's supposed to be the mushroom? Like, why just so many questions. So I'm thinking, if they were to redo it, I think it would be possible that it would be better now than before, because I'm pretty sure the people who made it before didn't quite understand what they were doing. So,
right.
I don't know. That's my thinking, my reasoning with that. I'm not saying that they should remake it, but if they were to, I'd be interested.
Now would be the time.
Now would be the time. Yes, because I mean that's the only other big video game juggernaut out there that's like, I mean, that's a classic from our childhood.
Yeah.
Unless they figure out a way to make Tetris a movie, please don't. That's a terrible joke. I'm sorry.
Well, they did Tron, so
they did, but
and they made a whole thing. They made Pirates of the Caribbean, which is not even anything. It's just a ride at Disneyland.
That is very true. They did that for Tomorrowland, which I liked. A lot of people, I guess maybe they didn't. It didn't get like great reviews, or maybe it was the box office. I don't know. It didn't do very well, but I liked it. And was Tron a video game, or was it a movie and then turned into a video? I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question, because I know the Tron that I'm thinking of, the latest one was a remake. No, it wasn't a remake. It was just a sequel. It was
a sequel, like 20 years later or something.
Yeah, I don't know if it started. I thought it started as a video game.
It may have.
I could be wrong.
I don't know. I may look into it later. I did try watching the original Tron, which I've seen before, but since Disney Plus, I decided to watch it again. But I did fall asleep because it was like 1:00 in the morning. So yeah, and we already talked about
that'll do it.
Yeah, I'm not a young buck anymore. So, but yeah, I do like Tron and Tron Legacy for what it's worth. I had another thought regarding video game movies, but I don't remember what it is. So I'm going to move on. The other thing I had watched within the last 2 weeks was They Will Have Us on Netflix. This also, I guess, leads into our whole Black History thing, Black History Month thing. But They Will Have Us is a 3-part documentary on pretty much Black cinema. And it's,
Okay.
I believe I want to say it's directed by Ava DuVernay, but I do know it's from her production company, Array. So
okay.
if she didn't direct it, but she, I believe, helped produce it because, Array. That's what she does.
Yeah. Nice.
But it was great. Like, I thoroughly recommend watching it because it does take you through the history of not only just film, but also just us in film and how we had to kind of break barriers and be seen and push envelopes to get our stories told. So nice. And it's from all different perspectives, from the directors, from the writers, of course, the actors, including Harry Belafonte, and even the late John Singleton, and the late Diane Carroll. She's in it too. And it was great seeing all these perspectives and how we've come through like the years. And for me, more movies that I need to go watch, because some of them I've heard of, but I've never seen, or some of them I've even heard of. So I'm like, ooh, I got to go check that one out.
Yeah.
But I really do recommend checking out this documentary series because it's great. Same time that came out, or maybe a couple days after, Who Killed Malcolm X? I have not watched it yet, but I heard good things, and I need to check that out next. I'm excited. So
that sounds awesome.
Yes.
And all on Netflix.
All on Netflix too. Yeah, they're bringing it this month, and it's only I was going to say it's the Ides of February, but that passed a couple days ago.
Right.
I don't know what else they're bringing us for Black History Month, but so far so good. I'm not mad at it. But continuing the theme of Black history and facts, because that, of course, it's a documentary, it's full of facts, and I thought I was going to pull out a couple interesting notes, but I do not recall any of them right now. I would have to go watch it again, which is not a problem. I would gladly watch that again. But there are some people that I would like to highlight for this month that I just want to shine a light on. And the first one on my list is Claudette Colvin, who, now, does this name ring a bell for you?
It doesn't.
She is an activist who was a pioneer in the civil rights movement in Alabama, as if in Alabama during the 1950s. She refused to give up her seat on a bus months before Rosa Parks did it. Now, the reason why she may not get as much recognition and it was actually planned, or I think was it planned? Well, she became one of the people, the NAACP. They wanted to use her, but she was too young to be like, I don't want to say a poster child or a representative of like the bigger cause, but because she was 15 at the time and then later found to be pregnant. And
that's right.
Yeah, the fact that all of these things kind of led to her not being like the one that they wanted to use, like to really make the movement bigger, because the whites would definitely use that against them. Like, oh, so you've got this pregnant kid to lead your cause, and no. So, yeah, so she was 15 at the time, but she continued to fight and do the work, although she was one of the plaintiffs in the court case to Browder versus Gale, which basically ruled the Montgomery segregated bus system. Montgomery is hard to say sometimes, so yeah, and ruling about that being unconstitutional. So she was part of that. She continued to fight and be, even though she may have been quiet at the time, not quiet because she wasn't going to move, but they had to use Rosa Parks instead because she was less I'm thinking of the word problematic, but she had less things going on that would be a problem or cause controversy. That's the word I was looking for. She was a less controversial figure. But I just wanted to shed a light on her. People are aware of her or getting more aware of her, and she is still with us today. So as far as I know, last I checked. But yeah, she's still with us today. And
that's awesome.
That is Claudette Colvin. And she went on to be a nurse too, by the way. So she, helping save lives, because that's what nurses do.
Awesome.
Shout out to nurses and teachers. Love you guys.
Yes.
Our next
they need
person.
To pay y'all more.
Yes, they do. Yes. Our next heroine, a performer. This is brought us to us by Berto. He likes to send us recommendations, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right. I could have asked him. I could have actually looked it up on YouTube, but I did not do any of these things. Leontyne Price, or Leontyne Price. But she is an American soprano or opera singer, classical singer, or opera singer, just a performer, just all of the things. And one of the greatest, most popular one of our generation, or maybe, say our generation. She's still with us as well. She recently celebrated her 94th birthday. Just a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And she has been described, let's see, or Price's voice is described as vibrant, soaring, a price beyond pearls. And there's a little play on her name too, because her last name is Price. Rich, supple, and shining. It was a prime. It was in its prime, capable of effortlessly soaring from a smoky mezzo to pure soprano gold of a perfectly spun high C. I'm sure that makes sense to people who classically sing.
I mean, it sounds good though.
It does, and I mean that's a lovely string of words to pull together, too. So I only listened to her sing like a little bit, but I'll definitely do more research to hear more of her. But I just want to roll off some of her accolades. Among many honors, she has the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I guess she got that in 1964. The Springham Medal. I'm not sure what that is, but the Kennedy Center Honors, 1980. The Medal of Arts in 85. And Grammy Awards. Do you want to guess how many Grammy Awards she has?
15.
Not bad. 19.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was close.
Yeah, you were close. And a Lifetime Achievement Award. I don't know if that was a Grammy or just an award like, yeah, it was a Grammy. Okay. So I don't know if that makes 20 or that's the 19th. I don't know. But she's got quite a bit and has earned quite a bit. But yeah, she was born on February 10th, 1927. And like I said, she's also still with us and just still being amazing. She has retired, but as far as I know, I don't think she's been doing anything else, just living her best life. And I don't think she's done any film, mostly just Broadway stuff and some albums, I believe. There are some recordings, but I have not gone to look for, video of her doing things. But yes, just amazing. Our last heroine for Black History Month is basically this came from a photo, and I tried to look for information about her, and I can't quite find any other information. Just this glorious photo. In fact, she is our winner of the first ever Indube BAMF Award. Now, BAMF is an acronym for words that we can't say on this podcast. So it's also the sound effect that Nightcrawler makes when he teleports. But that is BAMF, BAMF. You can kind of figure out the letters or what the meaning is. But this photo that I'm going to describe to you, which I'll have to post later, is, a lovely Black woman who's just upset because a white racist cop. I know he's racist. He just looks it, even though you can't see his face. But he's trying to manhandle her. Oh, I'm sorry, I never said her name. Pam Echols. You have to put in Pam Echols 1964 if you want to try to find this picture or this article. And because if you just put Pam Echols, you'll find, I think, one of the mothers of the, oh my goodness, I forgot already. It's another thing, but I'll get into it later. But basically, she is one of the protesters for the Fair Housing Act of 1968. I don't know why. Ooh. Oh, I'm sorry. Pam Echols 1968 is what you have to Google if you want to find the picture. But this, the Fair Housing Act of 1968, there's a whole bunch of protesting going on because they weren't getting fair housing treatment. They weren't able to get housing. So they did peaceful protests, and sometimes it got a little resistant, or at least from the white citizens and even the white police that were there, and they would, start fighting them. And the whole point of being peaceful was to not, attack back, but I guess you can only go so far. And Pam Echols was one of those people, like, you went too far, and she retaliated. Nothing really else is known of her that I could find, but that photo for me was just iconic. I'm like, wow, this is great. And the way that the photo itself, like, other people were commenting on it and describing, like, look, she didn't drop her bag, her hair is not out of place, and she's just like, just letting this guy have it. And I don't know, just love that photo. It just touched me. So as soon as I saw it, that's when I sent it to you, because I'm like, look.
And I love it, and I needed that in my life, and I got it, and it's mine forever now.
Same. Like, I feel like I need to put it somewhere, like post it as like a, I don't know, wallpaper or something on my phone, just giving me that, like, that energy. Like, yes. The article itself, I have not read. It's pretty lengthy, but I'm pretty sure it's packed full of lots of information, good information for more like history. Because, I mean, I did not know anything about this. This is back in Milwaukee, and they're calling this the Selma of the North, this whole movement. So I will post a link to that in the show notes so you can read all about it for yourself. But that is all of the Black history facts I have for this episode. I just wanted to make sure I not just looked at one person or one event. So that's why I gave you 3, kind of 4, because they will see us, or they will have us. I'm sorry. I keep getting that confused with the other Netflix, When They See Us by Ava DuVernay, which is a
I'll have to put that one on the list.
Yes. It's heart-wrenching, but it's a must-watch to learn about the exonerated
When They See Us?
Yeah.
No, I'm not watching that. But I agree. Like, it's definitely an important piece of film. I can't watch it though. I can't watch it. I know that.
I get it because it's one of the most recent of DuVernay's work that definitely, like, I ugly cried, like, by the 4th episode, because it was rough but necessary. So yeah. And then just recently, my parents were watching the 13th. I have not followed up with them to see if they liked it, what they thought about it. I think they're supposed to be participating in a panel regarding the film, so I have to do some follow up on that. But yeah, that's all I've got for all of my Black history for this. Not necessarily for this month, but at least I wanted to give you more because it's February, so I've got to pump it up a little bit, because we all here at the Indu, we love our culture, we love our history, so that's why we give a little bit. As for our others, I have no segue for this, but our Word Watch, because I actually came across a podcast, and I know I sent it to you. I don't know if you had time to listen to it. I found a new podcast called Every Little Thing. It's not new. It's new to me, but
you told me about it?
Yeah, I sent it in there. I actually put it in the group chat, so I don't know if you actually saw it at all. But I can send you the episode itself, so you can check it out, because this particular episode was about putting a new word in the dictionary. And the host asked for people beforehand to call in with words that they felt should be included in like the next batch of new words. And she had I should have written it down. This person's title of what she does, like she actually researches words and like their meaning and usage, and it's like, wow, there's so many things here, and I don't want to read you all the words, but I'm only going to give you one, and in fact this is going to feed the next few episodes of our word watch. But the first word I'm going to give you is fufara. Fufara is a great deal of fuss or attention given to a minor matter, kind of like, making a mountain out of a molehill kind of thing. So that's what a fufara is. It's also, because it sounds like this, it's also showy frills added unnecessarily. So that just makes me think of like, I don't know, cowboy shirts that have like extra frilly frills on them and stuff. That's like, why is that there? Or maybe they're just extra nonsense on clothing. I say nonsense, but other people are like, no, you need the fluffy fufara there. So I don't know. But fufara is just fun to say because it sounds like loofah. So I'm thinking if you just like staple a bunch of loofahs to your shirt, then that's fufara.
It sounds like floofy to me.
Floofy?
Sounds like floofy.
Oh, floofy.
Yeah, like I think of, and which is not really a word, but like, I don't know. I think like, like with animals. Oh, look at this floofy. Look at the floofer.
I guess.
I don't know.
I get it. I do get it. I mean, like a poodle, maybe. Maybe? I don't know.
Sure, maybe.
But yeah, fufara. Now, one of the words I will say now, because I'm trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do with it, it's not a word that's been introduced into the dictionary, but it is one of the suggestions, and that's schnibbles. And
Schnibbles.
Yeah, schnibbles. Schnibbles, the way that they define it, the person who called in, it is a basically the food that's left over on your plate. Like there's just like little bits of basically kind of nibbles, but it's just schnibbles. So yeah. And I figured, I was like, I like that. So I'm going to adopt it. And somewhere along the line, there'll be some kind of indoob schnibbles thing, maybe like the little bits of show that didn't make it in the podcast, or maybe it's something separate, like a little clip or something that we post, and like indoob schnibbles. So it'll be like maybe I don't know yet, but that's what I'm thinking it could be, because I like saying it, schnibbles.
It's a very interesting, colorful word. It
is. And I do highly recommend the podcast. And if you can find that episode, it's only like a couple months ago, or maybe a couple of weeks ago. It's fairly recent, and it's all about words. And as you know, we're word nerds over here. So that is definitely a thing. Lastly, I just want to formally announce that I am almost complete with the 2020 designs spring 2020 designs for the Indoob like TeePublic store. I initially had an idea of 20 designs, but I think I might actually bump it up to 30 because I'm like, I got inspired by a few more things. I'm like, ooh, I can do a shirt about that real quick. I can tell you some things that are coming. Some of them will be Star Wars themed. Some of them are quotes from this very show. Some that I say all the time, actually. I hate it here tends to be a thing nowadays. I've been hearing a lot lately. So I designed a couple shirts with that phrase in mind. So look, those will be coming. I have a Twilight Zone themed shirt coming. Living Single was in the news recently, so I have a shirt and then a few others kind of in that same vein of you'll see when that happens. I did have a blurred design. I'm sorry, Chief was upset about something. I did have a blurred design that got taken down. So I'm like, fine, I'm all right. I'm cool. So I just came back with, instead of the one, I'm going to try to give you 10 new ones. Some of which are still under construction or still being designed. And I actually recently, as of almost said yesterday, and I already thought today was Wednesday, but yesterday was Sunday in my mind. But as of Sunday, I recently figured out how to do a special, like, kind of distressed look. Like, I never knew how to do that in Photoshop, but I just learned how to do it. So I'm like, awesome. So now I can figure out how to make some, I don't know. You'll see when it comes out. Also, what I'm most excited about is my Indube University theme. So that's why it's coming out in spring. So those people are graduating can be class of like Indube 2020 or something. I don't know, but you'll see. I have official emblem and everything. Yeah, I'm excited. So
exciting stuff.
Yes, so that is coming very, very soon. Keep a lookout on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. I'll be sending like promos, or not promos, but like just ads that like, hey, these exist, and you get to see a little sneak preview of which you can buy. And I'm going to try to let you know when sales are happening, because that's usually the best time to buy stuff, because I mean you can pay full price if you want to, but it all helps support the Indube podcast. So thank you in advance. And please, if you buy anything, please take pictures and email them to me at indubepod@gmail.com, so that way we can share it, and then that can be part of the next ad rollout. So yeah. Kortney, do you have any like shout outs or any thoughts or recommendations, anything of that nature as we wrap it up?
My recommendations this episode, I will tell you that I did basically under losing friendships. I have finished the first season of the show You that is on Netflix.
Okay.
And have started the second season, and it's freaking amazing. It's so good. It's just so good. I understand, and I get the hype completely. It's great.
Okay.
It's great.
I have heard about it. I remember when the first season came out, I watched like the first couple episodes, but I didn't follow up with it. Not because it wasn't interesting. I think something just took my attention away and I never got back to it. But I have been hearing people talk a lot about it, and I want to get back into it, and hopefully I will sooner than later. I also did check out your recommendation from last episode, which I did start watching. And again, for whatever reason, I keep choosing to watch things just before I go to sleep. So I'll watch a few episodes and kind of doze off, and I'll wake up and Netflix is like, hey, still watching? Like 10 episodes later. So I've been getting through Seven Deadly Sins, I believe it's called. Yes. Okay. So I've been doing that, but then I kind of got back onto my anime streak a little bit, and I switched over to Baki, because that was something that was recommended, like someone on Twitter a while ago. So I decided to start watching that, and I've kind of gotten further in that. So yeah, I'm not necessarily recommending Baki, but that's what I've been watching. My recommendations I said earlier in the podcast. So that's that.
Nice.
So, do you want to be found if anyone can find you? Do you want where they can find you?
Sometimes it's all right to be found. You can find me on the Twitters at IamKHinton, where I'll talk about anything from 7 Deadly Sins to Black History. I just recently retweeted something about Arkansas Black History that I didn't even know. So, yeah, good stuff. And bookish things, because I am committed to talking about my book more, since that's kind of a thing I need to do.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm going to actually do it now. So.
Oh my God. We don't have any more time. They're playing the wrap up music for me right now. Booksmart. I recommend Booksmart. It's on Hulu. Go watch it. It is hilarious. Please watch that movie. I would double bill it with Superbad. So, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, go watch that immediately.
I've heard of it.
It's on Hulu. Just yes. I'll yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of there's a whole bunch of hype around it. It is hype deserved, and also snubbed for Oscars. Follow me on all things at Indube, and go to Indube.com. Tell someone you value that you value them. Live without regrets and live for the folks you love. Please wash your legs, your face, the bottoms of your feet, the undersides of your dishes. I've been your benevolent host, T. Sterling Watson, and remember, If the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off.
Thanks for listening to the Indu podcast, which was recorded from the south side of Wakanda in Little New Indubia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive, and is part of the Indube Network. Want more Indube? Follow on Instagram and Twitter @Indube and on Facebook @IndubePod. You can contact us and send Ask Indube questions by emailing indubepod@gmail.com. Want to support or donate? Find the T Public Store or become a patron on Patreon, where subscribing gives you perks and extra things from the Indube Network. Please subscribe, rate, comment, and share the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, Podbean, and wherever else podcasts are found. And of course, visit Indube.com for all of this and much more. Thank you so much for letting us entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Until next time.
Use your words, Chief. Good boy.
This has been another 3SFX production. It's that time of year again. Some festive holiday? Could be. Anniversary? Sure, why not? A night socializing with friends? Absolutely. Bring the class, share a wink, pour a glass of wine from Wink, your monthly online wine subscription. Try a box on me by going to j.mp/winkindube, all one word, and take a survey to determine your flavor profile, and you'll get up to 4 quality wine selections tailored to your taste. Wine not to your liking? Try something else. Not ready for the next month's shipment? No problem. Need more right away? Lush. I jest. Wine acquisition has never been easier, so give a try on me. j.mp/WINCINDOOB, because anytime can be wine time.